Hello, hello. All right. What's going on, guys? It's Ali coming to you live from Manhattan, New York. I'm in the Sasaki Garden next to the NYU campus, and I've decided to start doing these garden vlogs. This dude Farza, whose videos and thoughts and creations I really like, did this format where he sits in a garden and yaps about his life, and I decided that I wanted to do it too. Yeah, this week's been pretty good. I just came back to New York City from Chicago. I finished up my first year at NYU, which was my sophomore year of college, and I've decided to take a break from school. I'm taking at least a gap semester, which might turn into taking a gap year, which might turn into me never coming back, but we'll see how it goes. And I have this summer and the rest of the year really to do whatever I want. I'm staying in New York City, and I wanted to treat it as an experiment to see what I could get done and how far I could go if I literally had nothing competing for my attention. I wanted to go to NYU because I thought that it would be a more challenging environment and better suited for me and my ambitions. And I think it was. But college in general is a lot of just hacking bad tests. I got good grades in my classes this year while employing almost zero effort. But I did employ a lot of time. And I also had a beautiful internship at Versi where I met amazing people and connected more deeply and broadly with the city. But I wouldn't say the work I did there was my best work. It was a great experience, but I think that I really wanted to try making products and artwork at the edge of my capacity. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I guess I want to talk about the end of the school year and then the beginning of summer break and then come back to now. At the end of the school year, I was finishing up my internship, cramming for my exams, which were pretty easy, and I also threw my first event called the Art Movement. That was beautiful. I was really impressed and surprised to see this room of like 200 people in front of me who had come to an experience that I kind of orchestrated and worked on, and for them to enjoy it, or it seemed like they enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. My friends did, and yeah. Within the month of May, I wrapped up my school, my internship, and my first event. And all of those things ended in the same week. And it felt like 100 tabs in my brain closing off. I was also very mentally tired. I wouldn't say that it was extremely hard. I would just say that my brain was tired in the sense of having so many things in it at once and not being able to focus. Like just how your stomach would feel if you were eating a bunch of things at once. Yeah. So when the school year ended, I went back home and I just had this super peaceful, quiet 2 weeks where I didn't talk to anybody from my hometown really. I saw like 2 of my closest friends for a day, and I spent my mornings and evenings with my mom and my sister. But the rest of the day, I was just walking in a forest and thinking and not doing like anything else. I felt really good, and I wanted to reach that state of quietness and meditation and get back in contact with my own thoughts before coming back into this next chapter of my life, which is the gap semester. It was also kind of surprising because during that 2 weeks of quiet, I found myself not wanting to do anything. I thought that it was like, okay, I'm gonna make myself take this break, but I really didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to rest, really. I wanted my mind to breathe, to walk around, to just lounge, drink coffee, write, and have no agenda. And when I came back to New York, it low-key stayed with me, which was a bit scary. I was like, fuck, I lost my motivation. But this past week, I've slowly ramped it back up, and I'm getting to that place where I'm tired of doing nothing, which is the place that I wanted to get to. I wanted my brain to have this vacuum and keep that vacuum there for a minute so that it could start pulling inspiration and ideas from a place of boredom. Really, if you don't have all this noise going on in your head, you can start to see the world more clearly. You also get to have new ideas, really see like what you actually think. And I'm starting to get my motivation and my mojo back in. After my first few days of slowly getting back into the ease of things, I've spent this last week in New York finishing up the product of Marble, which was the fitness tracking app I talked about I mentioned it in my last video, and I had the idea during winter break, which was like 5 months ago, and only like sporadically worked on it throughout the school semester. But now that I'm in this place where I have a bunch of free time, I made like a lot of developments within like a week of just working on it for like 4 or 5 hours a day. So the app is basically done, and I'm working on the short film / promotional video for it, which I shot with my friends Carl Jacob Lee, Colin Chow, and Jaden Clemens. I'm gonna make a beautiful landing page and hopefully ship that product within the next 1 to 2 weeks. I'm treating it more like a portfolio piece rather than anything like a startup or just like a personal project. I'm going to finish this app and make it beautiful and make the marketing around it. But after I finish that, I think I'm gonna move on to something else. I wrote a lot and thought a lot about how I wanted to spend this gap semester, like what I wanted to work on and like what the goal should be. Like, should I be aiming to be financially free at the end of the semester? Should I be aiming to get a job? Should I be aiming to have like a certain follower count or whatever? And I feel like those metrics kind of faded away from me the more I sat with the question. And right now, the biggest compass I have for how to spend my time when I have all the time in the world in a beautiful situation really is to just try to make the most beautiful work I can. That's all. Like, it doesn't matter if 10 people see it or 1,000 people see it. It would be nice if more people saw it. And it doesn't matter to me if it's gonna make money or not. Again, it would be nice if it made money, but I'm not optimizing my hours and my projects to make more money or get more followers. I'm just optimizing them to be as beautiful as I can make them to be, the best work that I possibly can. I believe that if I focus purely on that, the outcomes will take care of themselves. I want to get paid for making products and for sharing ideas and writing in a focused way. And I'm not exactly sure where I'm gonna go in the next chapter of my life after this gap, but what appeals to me would be if I made a list of beautiful things in public, such as an app, which I'm doing now, another piece of clothing, a magazine, more events, and shared the process and the thinking behind them. I think that the worst case scenario is none of that shit like pops off and makes enough money to keep doing it, but somebody sees it at a place like Cosmos or Figma or Notion or another startup that is focused on making their product beautiful, and they would say, this guy gets it, and I would be able to help them and join their team. Another scenario is that one of the projects I do just takes off and it does well. Like, for example, if I shipped Marble and somehow like 1,000 people bought it for like $10, that's $10,000. If I dropped the jacket later this year and like it just sold a shit ton of units, then again, like that would be a signal for me to keep doing that. So the other thing is that if I just keep shipping products in public, one of them might end up being the thing or a thing that allows me to sustain myself economically or financially. So that's two scenarios. The first scenario is getting a job at a cool startup that fucks with me and my best work. The second scenario is that one of them does well enough that I get to continue and just keep making my own shit. And the third scenario is that I don't get a job, none of my shit pops off, but I had 6 months to work on whatever interested me the most, and I go back to school and just continue. So those are kind of the three career outcomes of what happens to take a gap semester. And I think those are pretty good conditions, and it allows me to focus purely on making the most thoughtful and excellent work that I possibly can, which I'm very excited about. Other than that, I talked about making Marble. That's what I've been working on this week, and it's quite fun to vibe code. I think that it's really rewarding if you have good taste. Like, if you were previously an artist and you find yourself being like, yo, I'm not perhaps super excellent with these tools, but I do know that if I sit with something long enough, it's gonna turn out good. You can sit with Claude Code or Replit or Codex and just like explain your idea and notice things that could be better and research things when you hit a roadblock, and just slowly just learn as you build it and develop your skills as a developer or as, just someone who makes software. Naval and a lot of people talk about this concept of learning by doing. And I think that once I adopted that about like I think 1 or 2 years ago, really, things just feel so much more possible. Like I had the idea to make an app in January, and now it's May, and I go to the gym and I use my own app, and that's a really interesting place to be. I think that I would recommend that to any young person who's interested in making things. Just get into it and do it in public. So yeah, as I've been working on Marble, I've been trying to hit the gym more. One of my goals during the gap semester, along with making my most beautiful work, is to get in the best shape of my life. I'm trying to get like lean as fuck and dial in my nutrition, go on hella runs, get like some tans. I've been going on runs and bikes around New York City every day, which feels beautiful. Working out, making cool things, and seeing people. I think my relationship with socialization and like hanging out and having fun is a bit complex right now. During this gap, it's like a part of me wanted to lock the fuck in and make as much progress and work as possible. Another part of me was like, okay, this is like an opportunity for you to explore, meet more people, have fun. And I think the second option is kind of like wearing away a little bit in its appeal, just because I don't think that working hard closes you off from friendship. It just makes it more selective. It's like a filter. If you're trying to wake up early and work on your product and stay healthy, then it creates friction towards like drinking, going out and being up too late, and just generally just like forms of hanging out where it's more of kind of like a waste of time than anything fulfilling or progressive. And I think I'm just gonna lean into that. My mother and my father were completely against the idea of dropping out or a gap semester or anything like that. But after talking to them and showing them my work and kind of discussing like how the world kind of is right now, they've flipped and they're 100% supporting me and have so much belief in me. And I just feel like I can't waste that by like fucking around too much. I want to take a gap semester to bet on myself, and my parents are also betting on me now too, and I feel so blessed and loved, and I have no intention of wasting that. So I think that my life, my days will be anchored in disciplines such as deep work blocks, waking up early, training, eating right, staying away from like substances or anything like that. And whatever love and companionship and connections come to me through focusing on my highest frequency, I will welcome those wholeheartedly. Yeah, as you vibrate at certain frequencies, you attract other people who are vibrating at those frequencies. And I'm just trying to vibrate at the highest, for real. Or at least like, yeah, no, fuck that. I'm vibrating at my highest frequency. That's my goal. I'm really gonna try to focus on things that are gonna make me feel really good about myself 6 months from now. Not in the moment. 6 months from now, if I was disciplined in the gym and with my nutrition, I would feel fucking amazing. With relationships too, it's like there is a space for comfort and fun, just for the sake of fun. But it's also really fun to make connections with people who are building in similar or adjacent paths to you. It's really fun to work out and do something explorative and regenerative with somebody as a way of hanging out. And you have arguably just as much fun, and it's an even better scenario because the next day you don't feel like shit. In fact, you feel better. So I'm really thinking about that Venn diagram of things that feel good right now, or that are fun right now, and also make tomorrow better, instead of just things that feel good right now but make tomorrow worse. And I wouldn't say I do too many things that feel like shit today but make tomorrow better, but I think those are important too. I don't want to yap too much, but those are kind of what's on my mind right now, and I'm looking forward to this era of my life. And yeah, I feel really blessed to be in New York City, being free and able to work on the projects that excite me the most, to be able to share what I'm seeing and thinking and learning and fucking up. And yeah, I'm just generally optimistic, grateful, and yeah. Trying to think, do I have anything else to say? I guess to the person watching this, I would just say, don't wait to work on the things that excite you the most. I think postponing it for a later day is a bit of an illusion. If you take whatever free time you have in your day and devote it to a labor of love, you'll find that window of opportunity expanding slowly. That 30 minutes might turn into 1 hour, and an hour of working on something you love a day in public might grant you an opportunity to do it for a bit of money. And now that 1 hour turns into 3 hours. And slowly, as you continue showing the universe that you really want to do that shit, I think that it tends to reward you with more space and time to do that. 2 years ago, I was alone in my family's house back in the suburbs of Chicago. I didn't know anybody who was working on a startup. I didn't know anybody who was making content. And I really wanted to be somewhere else. And by just holding on to that vision and trying the best I could to move towards that space in my free time, I find myself now at 19 sitting in Manhattan in a 6-month stretch of time where I get to do all the things that I love to do around people in a city that gets it too. And I'm in awe of how quickly things have changed, and I don't want to underestimate the power of compounding and building cool shit in public and taking my craft and my own work seriously during this stretch of time, because I've seen how I could jump in to a completely different life, and I'm really curious about what's going to happen if I do that again. You know, where life will take me, where God will take me when I'm 20, 21, 22 and beyond. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. I hope you chase and work on whatever it is that keeps you awake too. Whatever you daydream about in the shower, when you're walking about, when you're scrolling on social media and you see something and you're like, I could do that too. I want to do that too. Don't wait. Don't wait. All right, that's all I got. Peace, love, all the above. Bless up. Bye-bye. Love. Maybe I should say that shit more concisely. Bless up. Take care.